I've had a lot of people, a lot of parents, that when they come to my class, you know, they'll say, I've never seen anything like this before.
Hi guys! While you were away, I turned into a shape that we are going to be learning about today.
And really, I think I've taken, you know, what I was doing in the classroom and kind of implementing into the Saturday Play series where, you know, they might not think that making a sensory board is a learning activity, but in reality, you know, okay, they have this sensory board. Now you're communicating with your child and talking about different textures. So now there's this speech involved, like, oh, like they might not know what the word fuzzy means, but now they're touching this cotton ball and you can kind of explain and learn that way. And it's, you know, you really don't have to overthink it. I think people really overthink, well, are they learning enough? And a lot of what I've seen is that children learn through communication and showing and modeling.
Oh, it's freezing! You think you can catch some of the ice cubes in the cup? Can I pour?
So, you know, I'm scooping the rice, I'm learning how to pour, and it's even daily living skills, you know, playing with the water. You learn from your environment, and I think that was my big driving point was I'm going to create this space, this environment for parents and families so that they can have fun, but they also are learning. For as long as I can remember, I was obsessed with the idea of being a teacher.
I'm looking forward to meeting each and every one of you tomorrow morning on our first day of kindergarten.
I just care so much about kids, and I think what really, you know, makes me love being an educator is just every kid's different. And I think, you know, I've had experiences where learning in the classroom, you know, we're taught to do something a certain way and there's no other way to do it, and it's not really fair. And I think, you know, using my creativity, you know, there's all these ways to learn. When I went back to school, I got my master's in early childhood education, and I remember being obsessed with the curriculum and the idea, you know, play-based learning, like children learn when they play, and I really gravitated towards that. And so when I was in the classroom, fast forward, I became a kindergarten teacher, and I was doing stations with the kids, and I remember, you know, getting really excited about, you know, what to plan next. And the kids seemed to really gravitate towards the different stations, moving around and trying new things. And then the pandemic happened, and then I became, you know, fully virtual. And I remember having to get really creative.
See the little girl packing her book bag, and the little boy's picking out his socks. And I'm sure all of you are getting everything ready for virtual learning.
And getting little kindergartners to sit in front of a computer was just impossible. So I would dress up, I would make up songs. One of my lessons, I had a foam rectangle, and I made up this song about a rectangle. I put it on my face. And, you know, the feedback that I got from these parents, you know, they were sending letters to the superintendent, you know, she's really going above and beyond. My children are asking to watch these lessons. And it just really sparked something in me. After I had Audrey. It was about 6 months. I started feeling that itch to, you know, do something with teaching again. I didn't want to go back to the classroom. I didn't want to leave her. And so I started, you know, searching, like, what can I do from home? I had a few kids that I was tutoring in the evenings when Audrey would sleep. And I had this one girl who was really struggling with reading and writing. And so I came up with this idea, what if we, you know, made a book together? And I used the lessons that I was teaching her, and I put it into, you know, we were doing pronouns, verbs, nouns, those kind of things. And she created her own story, and then I ended up illustrating it for her. And I presented it to her mom, and her mom was in tears. I could not believe that she created this book. And so then my wheels started spinning. I was thinking, I can do this. Like, I can make this a class for kids. And then, you know, fast forward a little bit, and I I discovered this studio in Medford. It's called Studio 67. And so I started hosting all these different children events. I did a paint with me where I was in sense Bob Ross, and I was doing, follow along, and then I had a toddler music class, and then I did a baby class where it was just for infants, and then this last time I came up with this idea. I called it Satter Play, and I had where it's music, sensory, art, a craft, and something that they could take home, and basically my idea was I wanted to create that memory, that space for families, for kids, where they could just come, be themselves, and it's just been such an amazing experience. What do I want out of life? I have big dreams. I started the YouTube. I was making little educational videos. I've been, posting things on Instagram, like easy daily activities you can do with your child. I have this idea of having a space, having a cabin style building and calling it the Creative Cabin, where I'm just hosting things all week long and not just toddler events. And so I would just love to have something where I could be very creative and say, okay, this month we're having a cookie decorating party, or next month we're having a paint party. Maybe doing like a writer's workshop for kids in high school. I mean, one of my favorite classes was creative writing in high school. And I can still remember the teacher and the things that we did. And I would love to have a space for that, even maybe like open mic nights for young comedians or, whatever it might be, but just creating this space where we can do whatever, for children and their families. I think it's always amazing to see, find a child's strength, and when you see them overcome something and be able to do something that they were, they said, I can't do this. It's just, and I would always say, you can do this. You can say, I just can't do this yet. But, being an educator and seeing somebody, a child move through that process of thinking they can't do something and then coming out on the other side that's why I love what I do.
Short. So I have a song that I wanted to sing to you.
And it's inspiring too, as an adult, looking at a child, people think that children are just, they're children, they're supposed to do this, and, they're people too. And I think people forget that, and that they can do hard things. And I think that's why I love teaching.